Good morning, everybody. This is Wendy Miller with Open Door Technology, and I'd like to welcome you all to our client webinar series. This morning, we're going to be talking about ClickLearn, and we have a couple of people from ClickLearn, Mark Olson and Christine Eltz, will be doing the presentation. ClickLearn records complicated word processes in popular business software, and in our case today we'll be talking about NAV or Business Central. It produces multiple language learning materials that become available to you 24/7 from any one of your devices. So I think this is going to be a pretty exciting webinar. So that being said, I will turn the time over to the people from ClickLearn.
As Wendy just mentioned, my name is Mark Olsen. I'm the sales manager here in ClickLearn, and today I have Christine with me as well, and we will be talking a bit about what is ClickLearn. I will do a short introduction about ClickLearn, and then we will actually see the ClickLearn product live, where Christine will give us a demonstration, and then we will get back to me a little bit about how you actually can try out ClickLearn if you want to, but of course also how to become a customer. If we look at what is ClickLearn and what is our mission? So ClickLearn is the market-leading user adoption and e-learning tool for Microsoft Dynamics. We have rethinked the way you can create, maintain, and consume learning materials actually across any application that is in the Microsoft portfolio. So we know we're going to see this presentation on BC today, but we also work outside BC. So let's say you have a process that maybe starts in Outlook, where you get a sales order and you need to convert that into BC. We can cover all these processes, even also if you export anything into Microsoft Office products. So how is ClickLearn started? ClickLearn is a Danish organization, as you maybe can hear in my accent. There are 3 founders. We have offices in North America, where Christine is located, but we have our headquarters in Copenhagen, Denmark, and we're also in Asia. So we support globally 24/7. We are Microsoft Gold certified partner, and we are actually the 136th fastest growing company in Europe at the moment. If we look at where ClickLearn is used, we have customers in more than 44 countries. We have around 400 corporate customers, and we of course work with a lot of Microsoft partners, and Open Door Technology is definitely one of them we work a lot with, if we talk especially in Canada, but also a few US customers. We are divided in, so we have 42% of our customers are in North America, and 58% is in the rest of the world. If we look at what we're going to see today and what ClickLearn actually are doing, so we have a simple 3-step model. We record, we produce, and we publish your content. So with one process, one recording, I can then produce 7 different learning formats for you. That means we have 3 different types of documentations, 3 different types of videos that you can interact with, and we have an on-screen live assistant inside Business Central as well. So if you're stuck in Business Central, you can call our live assistant and he will take you through that process. We also auto-translate all instructions and videos. So if you are in multiple languages, I know in Canada we can come to Quebec a few times and they want it in French. We have the possibility to actually auto-translate any of your instructions and videos that are produced with ClickLearn. We also support you in recapturing system upgrades. So let's say you are maybe you're an existing NAV 2018 customer and you want to convert into Business Central. ClickLearn can actually recapture all that for you. So if you have documented your NAV 2018, we can then, with a replay function inside ClickLearn, reproduce all that learning material when you convert into Business Central. And we also are providing all this, of course, in a learning portal that is available 24/7. And we are building in learning analytics as well. So we collect feedbacks, we collect rating, we actually see how well people interact with the system. And all that we can do across all these applications that you see here at the lower left corner. I know a lot of us are working from home at the moment, so an example is that we also support Microsoft Teams. So if that's something you want to know more about, we can of course also show that. So who benefits from using ClickLearn? To me, it's about that we actually make sure that your employees adapt the software as quick as possible. A lot of time, I don't know if this is good or bad, but if you have to ask open door technology actually to use the software, I think it's because we need to onboard and educate your people better, and all that we can do together, because open door technology actually have a learning pool regarding what they are delivering with a ClickLearn product. So you can reduce that cost of actually asking, how do I use the system? And together with open door technology, we also make sure that your customer, or you as a customer in Business Central, if you get any new employees or anything like that, we make sure that they master the software immediately, even having no skills inside Business Central. And then we also reduce the risk if we look at it from a management perspective. It's about having high process accuracy, and we want to minimize that risk when you go out and even do customizations, new deployment, or upgrade your system. This is where we can reduce that risk, because we deliver high process accuracy and we have learning materials available 24/7 across all these applications. That was it from me at the moment. I will hand it over to Christine right now, and then we will come back to me later. As Wendy mentioned, please feel free to ask any questions during the presentation, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you are now looking at my ClickLearn Studio instance. Two things that you need to have is, of course, ClickLearn Studio, and you would need an application to record from. So I'm going to be using our sandbox version of our Business Central instance. So without any further ado, very quickly, we can get started into creating our work instructions by coming up here to the top, very top left-hand corner. We're going to create a new recording. We're going to show you how you can create a book, which is your categories. We can talk about creating the shelf as well. We're not going to have time to get into the NAV help or Business Central help, but that is actually a product that we have as well that combines both the Microsoft help instructions as well as the ClickLearn instructions that you'll create to have together on your learning portal. So you'll see how it all comes together. Well, let's get started right now with a recording. So when I select a recording, we have all of these business platforms that we support. We also call them connectors. So we are a Microsoft Gold partner, so we are very strong in the Microsoft suite, but we also have connectors for another big ERP system called IFS. Additionally, you can see we have a web application and a Windows application. So we are cross-platform. You're not going to have to start with one connector and stop to go to another. And I'll show you in a moment how you can identify which connector you'll actually be using to capture your work process instructions. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our Microsoft Business Central. And here, the recorded languages, we have 45 different languages. We have 140 different dialects, both male and female packages. Within the US, or within the English, you can see we have US English, Australia English, India English, a variety of them. So we're going to get started with my native language. And then ClickLearn is just going to ask me one more time to please wait for a green rectangle to appear before I start my recording. And of course, we are ClickLearn, so we want to keep our hand on the mouse and click through as many of the work instructions as we can. So now I'm going to say, yes, start my recording. And ClickLearn has now gone behind the scenes of my application. And in just a moment, you may have seen a little bit of a green flash there. Anywhere where there is a link, takes a moment to wake up here today, but it will follow me then. Now you can see in that top right-hand corner is my Business Central icon that lets me know, and the green rectangle is anywhere that I want to go ahead and click and touch. I can, if there's any headings, and if I do want to go outside the application, so if I did want to go to a SharePoint site, I could grab that. If I wanted to come up here and go to a different web page, it will capture anywhere there is an active link where there's source file information behind that. So we're just going to, our example today is going to be just very quickly, I want to take a couple steps and we're going to validate a BC customer. So we're going to go down into our customers and we'll select one here from our list. And then to validate a couple of steps, we're just going to make sure we validate, we get the name of our business. We'll take an address. I'm going to go ahead and grab just for this one here with British, I'm going to grab a field here, and I'm going to quickly grab another screen, and let's grab this email. So I've grabbed a variety of fields. I'm going to use the control keys on my keyboard to shut my recording down. And now I'm going to be mindful about this is the title of my work instruction. So I need to give my recording a name that will be relatable to who your end users are that are going to be using this documentation. So I'm going to be saving it on my local drive. You can save it on your laptop. You could save it on a PC locally. You could save it on a shared drive, a OneDrive, a SharePoint site. So there are a variety of places that you can, all of these materials, these recordings that you are authoring or writing your documentation for. Lots of opportunity. So now that I've saved it, I also have returned to my ClickLearn Studio, and it's highlighted my particular step here. I've also taken advantage of using what we call a project filter, and you'll notice that anything that I have created for this particular project I'm working on, and if I remove this filter, I'm just going to show you again, if will be working on multiple projects, or if you have different teams that you're creating materials for, and you want to just try to keep it very specific to what you're working on. Notice I have a variety of other projects, so when I take this check out of that box, now I have all of my materials and all of my books. So it can look a little overwhelming when you're trying to focus and create materials for just one project. And you can do that just by using this filter and selecting your materials. So now that I have my file highlighted, I'm going to come up here. We're going to take a look at it together. Now you can see I have my steps. On the left-hand side is where I'm going to be doing all of my editing, and the preview pane is all here on the right-hand side. Notice the templating that has been done for me. Right off the bat, I have a neatly cropped screenshot for each one of the steps that I've created, and anything that you see here in this bolded text, it's actually looking into this field, this element, and it's identifying the name of what that field is. Again, because we are a Microsoft Gold partner, we integrate with the Microsoft ecosystem, so we're able to really look down at that field level to see what these steps are labeled as. All of this templating that you're looking at is completely customizable. So if you would rather see your text on the left and your screenshots on the right, or the other way around, the text on the right and the screenshots on the left, we can do that. If there's a particular font style that your business likes to use, the fonting can be done, as well as the actual text itself. So you would work with our customer care team, and they would help to set up the templating for you, even down to the branding material, anything that you're going to look at here that you see the ClickLearn logo in, think of your own logo. If you have a particular color that goes along with your business, all of that is customizable from here. Now with my steps, I'm going to come here and take a look and say, well, I've entitled this document Validating BC Customer Accounts. So if I'm going to have an end user come in and look at my materials, I'm going to want to have them look at just more than one account. I'd like for them to be able to look at any of these accounts. And also I have some nice hanging banners, and Microsoft is pretty good about showing me what the detail is. If I wanted to clean this up a little bit, I'm just going to close down here, and let me make sure I get back out to my home page here. And I'm going to simply replay. So as Mark had indicated earlier, if I have any documentation that I've created for an earlier version of my Business Central and I want to update it, I can convert a recording. I could come up here to File and choose to convert it into what I'm about to what my upgraded material is, and then I would choose to use replay. Or if I have existing documentation that I want to go through the steps to make sure that I've captured nice clean screenshots, the replay function is also used for that as well. So let me just, let me get started with the replay, and ClickLearn is just reminding me that I'm going to need to take my hand off the mouse because ClickLearn is going to be looking at that source file, and it's going to go through those steps very quick and cleanly. So I'm going to say yes using my English US. Now my hand is off the mouse, and you'll notice that ClickLearn, I didn't need to start up any other kind of video editor. ClickLearn very quickly goes through my steps, and it will grab all of those steps once again. So I don't have to worry about any other banners that might be jumping in the way. And that's how quickly my replay is done. It would update any fields that I have. So now let's go ahead and look at it one more time with my file highlighted. So I have my step here, my customers, my value, I have my field name, my field address, my county, and an email address. Maybe I don't need to capture this county field for every business. So I can come here to my editing, and I'm going to simply right click on that step, and I'm going to say to exclude this step. So again, I haven't had to open up any other kind of editor to be able to drop that. The template updates it, it excludes it. If I have decided, or if the management comes at a later time and says, hey, maybe we do want you to go ahead and include that step, I would simply come over here and notice in this top right-hand corner, I have a writer role. We have a variety of roles actually, but as an author of documentation, you will be working in that writer role, but I can come over here to my developer role. And when I do that, now I can see all of my steps, including that one that I excluded. So it hasn't really gone away. If I delete it, it would be gone. But for this particular purpose, I can come back here and I can choose to take this check out of the box and include that step again. Then I just need to make sure that I continue back to my writer role so I can get my document set, make any additional edits that I want before I move on to putting it onto a book or a shelf. So finally, I'm looking at this and saying, yeah, I really don't need that county step after all. Coming here, simply going to delete it. Once I delete it, there is no going back, it's gone. However, now I've been asked to go ahead and include that phone number field. So with my application open, here's my phone number field. Now I'm going to simply come in, right click, let's say to record a new step. So ClickLearn has gone behind. In just a moment, I'll get that green flash, and now I can go ahead, capture that field, use the control keys to shut it down. And because I've highlighted that very last step, ClickLearn knows to put that step that I want to add in. It's the phone number field that I wanted. And now you can see my steps on the left-hand side have now been updated, and my screens on the right side, now my templating now all shows that. Considering I have 3 particular items all right beside each other, I'm just going to highlight the 3 of them together, and now I'm going to use this group functionality within my edit features. And when I do that, further, I have an image editor. So now I have a little bit of liberty that I can go ahead and update using that bright green. I'm just simply capturing that section so that my end users know these are the 3 fields. And when I say OK here, finally I have a choice. I can choose to have it as a numbered list for each step or a bulleted list for each step. So I'm just going to show you real quickly. When I say give me that numbered list of each step, ClickLearn has now gone ahead and given me that one updated screen. It's given me the steps 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to validate my address, my phone number, and an email. And when I go ahead and use the magnifier that you could see to pop it out, to zoom it out, I didn't have to worry about capturing an object, making sure it was the same size for all 3 steps, grabbing a numbered field or a numbered font and changing the font from black to white to make sure it was perfectly put into that circle. ClickLearn has done all of that. Again, all of the templating process is very powerful here. If I choose to change this, I can come up here to the highlighted step, and when I double click on it, I could say, I really don't need to have it numbered 1, 2, 3. It's not a particular mandatory field. So now when I simply change it to the bulleted list, again, the templating is done, making sure that everybody knows these 3 fields that are highlighted, go ahead and validate them any way that we want to. And then one more little edit feature, something like this particular step here, where I'm saying that I want them to click on that link, but if I want them to validate all of the customer accounts, again, I'm going to come up here and navigate. And instead of just saying with this one value, I really want them to be able to have the opportunity to validate any of the accounts. So when I do my editing on the left, I'm going to right click and I'm going to simply come down to the almost to the end and say, I would like any row to be selected in that column. So when I say that, now I have my editing for my area or my element has now been expanded. I now have my text that says to click on the cell number on any row. And then finally, if I want to come to the very top, I can include what we call a bookmark. And a bookmark is going to be the full screen, and you'll see that just a moment. And I can use this as an introduction and say, and then when I say OK here, now I have my very first full screen. So I have my introduction, I have my steps that it will follow, my address, my phone number, and email. So about the only other thing is you can add notes. If you need to have greater detail about a particular step, if you need to take some time and go into a little bit more about what you're looking to have in this field, I can come down here to my list of grouped items, and I'm going to, again, highlight that email step, but I want to make sure that I put a reminder in here because if you are doing global business, you would probably need to be mindful of making sure you have a country code for any international numbers. So with this step highlighted, I'm going to come one more time to my edit ribbon. I'm going to say add a note, and in my note, I want to say just that. And if I want to make sure that it's being spelled correctly, pronunciation, I can go ahead and do a preview here.
Remember to add a country code for international numbers.
So that's our Miss Sally. She's read that just the way that I'd like, and I don't want to end it at the end of the group. So now I've got it placed here. Again, I want to make sure that I have it, even though I have it right here, there is a placement box. So we have lots of opportunity for you to be able to change and move, because if you've typed it in the wrong spot on a paper, on a document, then you have to cut it and paste it. Right here, again, ClickLearn with all of its formatting does it right for me. I want to keep it with that previous step. I want to keep it with my phone number. So I'm going to make sure my placement is here. And now it's placed it in that correct spot. So again, haven't had to whip out any other applications. All of my edits have been made. Pretty satisfied with the way my steps are now. So now that I've completed all my editing, I'm going to say yes to save all my changes. And now I'm going to produce the material. So when I select produced, I'm going to keep it in my English US and I say okay. You'll notice in this lower right-hand corner, there's a green progression ribbon. And what's actually happening now is ClickLearn is looking at this source file where we did our recorded steps, and it's going to be generating 7 different learning formats, all here simultaneously. And as soon as that producer is done, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the materials that we've done. Oh, and we've done this in just about 15 minutes. So now that the producer is finished with my file highlighted, now I want to bring you up here to viewing our material. And we're going to view it from the web page. So that's item number 1. So here's our material. It's accepted all of those edits that we made at that source level. It's any of the branding material again. That's all you. We're validating our BC customer. Here's our steps, guided. Name, here's our address, phone number, and email information. It's captured it just the way we wanted it to be captured. We also have 3 videos, a show me, try me, test me, and we'll get to those in just a minute. But first, let's take a look and talk about the PDF, the Word, and the PowerPoint document. I'm going to open up the Word document. The PDF and Word and the PowerPoint all open in their native applications. So here with Word, you can see we've now added inside, and it would print out in your standard format, 8.5 by 11 document. Here we have additional metadata. So if you want to keep track of who your authors are or your writers, the CHE, that's me, I'm Che at clicklearn.com, so it's the beginning of my email address. And then we have a date stamp and the pages. You can format the metadata any way you see fit. We also put the title information up there as well. So we're trying to allow as much space as we can for all of the steps that you'll be creating. Here's all of our steps. So my particular step here, the templating again, it's all done any which way you want. So if you still want it to be on the left and the right, you would just simply need to wrap that, any additional notes or text that you put in there as well. The PDF is stylized the same. We can open that up real quick. It opens up in Adobe Reader, so you don't have to have a full Adobe Acrobat program. It opens up in the Adobe Reader, and again, its format stylized the same as the Word document. Now the PowerPoint, this is very powerful because while we were snapping, capturing with the smaller screenshots, ClickLearn has actually gone behind the scenes and it's created a whole step-by-step instruction. So if you are doing any in-classroom training, this would be a very powerful feature for you to be able to have, because you'll have your materials all in the electronic formats, print them out if you want to. You could also be doing your explanation while you're talking to your group of in-classroom attendees. If you have a conference that business stakeholders, maybe that you're in a conference room that you need to project something up on the wall for everyone to see and discuss, you can show your steps this way. If you're in a conference room, so if you're attending an event and you have been selected to be a presenter and you need to show materials for any of the work instructions or things that you've created, ClickLearn captures them all just like that. Now the show me, try me, test me videos, I'm going to start it.
Use this guide to complete the validation of a customer account.
Again, Miss Sally is one of 140 different voices, male and female, dialects galore. You can listen to them all. Out at ClickLearn.com, we have our voice cloud. So they are the Microsoft cloud voices, so you can click to see if a particular country is available that you would like to record in. Also notice my hand is not on the mouse. I'm not moving it. So I didn't have to open another video recorder or any other pieces of software. ClickLearn's video, the templating takes care of all of that as well. So even though I was showing you at the top of our demonstration how you could go out and click on a different link and showing you about the connectors, ClickLearn takes all that away. It's just very precise to whatever those work instructions are that you click through. And it does end up here with an optional feedback panel. So I can say this was great. This was very... and submit. And we'll talk about where you could go to pick your data analytics up later. The next one is the Try Me video. The Try Me video, now I can click here to get started.
Use this guide to complete the validation of a customer account. Click on the navigation menu item Customers.
So from here, I'm just going to quiet Miss Sally as we talk a little bit more. I can click anywhere I want. I can click all day long. I can click 5, 10, 15, 20 times. It's not going to go anywhere until I actually click where it tells me to. It's going to provide that box for me to click into. Now notice we had selected the one item here for the Canon group, but now I have the opportunity that I can click on any one of these items to validate. So my instructions again, I'm going to be clicking in the field name. I'm going to click down here in my field address. Notice that it skipped right over the county. I have my phone number and it's giving me my friendly reminder about adding the international number. And if you don't want those instructions to pop up, you have flexibility. Remember those roles I showed you, the writer and the developer role? Well, we also have a video role. So if you want to make some specific editing, so perhaps you want those word instructions to be in your written instructions, but you don't want them to be auditory, you can choose to take those, put a check in a box that says take those instructions off. We don't really want them to be repeated here on your audio. So I'm going to finish with my email field. And again, I have that optional feedback panel. Now the last one is the test me video. And the test me video starts.
Use this guide to complete the validation of a customer account.
So now I no longer have the red boxes to guide me. So now I better have been paying attention. See, the beauty of having the show me and the try me and even the test me is I don't have a separate database that I have to prepare training materials every time I want people to go through any of these work processes. They can repeat the show me, the try me, the test me, all of them over and over and over until they become comfortable and proficient enough that they would want to come into this test me video. So now I'm like, okay, geez, I thought it was here. Yes, it was. Now it says to click on the link in the cell number on any row. So we were originally clicking here. Let's just grab another one. So now I'm clicking on the field name, clicking in my field address. I'm going to come down here and click 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Here it was. It's this one that I needed to click on. Now it's letting me come over here to my phone number, reminding me for the country codes, and then finally clicking in my email field. So now you can see we have a point value here. ClickLearn default is for 5 attempts, 5 points. Notice that it's given me, it took me 2 attempts, so I got 3 points. It took me 3 attempts until I finally got the field address correctly. So it'll aggregate your points, your percentage value based on how many steps you have. So I've passed my exam here. This information is SCORM compliant. So ClickLearn has the SCORM compliant package that you can load this into a learning management system if you have one. If you don't, we do also have, we're going to go out to the dashboard to take a look at it in just a moment. We have an Azure Content Cloud that you can gather your data analytics so that post-deployment you can go ahead and keep up with who's taken the tests, what were the grades, what step did they stumble on? Did they do the show me? Did they do the try me video? Did they actually complete those videos? So we have all of that information over in our data analytics. So wow, we have this and this. So what more? We've got our materials. We're very happy with them. How do we get them out? Let's get back out of here and back up to our home page. How do we get it out to our home page? Here within Business Central, we have a dashboard tile that we called it Activating Our Assistant. And when I clicked on my assistant just one time, I now have a live assistant actually sitting up here on my ribbon. So from day one, if I have an end user that I want them to begin using the system, so if you want to as a value add, or even if you have some well-seasoned employees that do not perform certain functions regularly. The live assistant is very helpful in as much as you can go ahead and get into your work instructions. And this particular one is an example of what we worked on. But I also have an onboarding. So these are the different categories or the shelves that we're going to, I'm sorry, the books that we're going to put on our Learning Portal shelf. So here you can see this is our sample. We have pages and tables from Microsoft that we have integrated. So this is our Business Central integrated or Inside Help. We have Inside Help information on how to get started as well as our onboarding. And when you go down into any of these, you can again choose whichever work instructions you want to. So if I wanted to change a customer in BC, again, coming down into those work instructions, now I have my live assistant. So he is just that. He works live inside your environment. And when I go ahead and I fire him up, it can be him or her. This is also customizable. So if you would prefer to have a female avatar versus a male avatar, if you have a beloved president that you would like to see his face, all customizable, can be done. So now I'm a day one end user. I have some work materials, whether it comes in the form of an online work basket or maybe there's an inbox that's just piled up with papers where I need to be making these changes for. So you've given me the materials. Now you've logged me in. I'm going to use my live assistant and I'm actually going to click through my steps. So I'm going to be clicking on my navigation. And when it brings me down here, I'm going to click on that cell. Gonna sit up there and think for just a moment. Then once we get down into the account, now he wants me to click on the field name. So if I want to make any changes to this field, this would now be live, that I could go ahead and remove some information or update some information. Same thing here. If I needed to update any of this, I can. And now it's just taking me back out. So I've completed whatever my changes or edits are made, and I'm back out of and ready to go for my next step, my next process, if there's another account that I need to change. So now, let's get back into ClickLearn. We still have a few things to go here. I'm going to go ahead now and come up and say, let's create a new book. And the book is considered your category where all of your work instructions will be kept. So you can choose to do this by department, by job roles, by business unit, depending upon how down in the weeds you'd like to get. And the same thing, you now have to give that book a name. So I can go ahead and create whichever my departments are. So now once I choose to save the book, and I'm saving it here with all of my Business Central information, now what becomes very helpful is, again, keep in mind that company name, that project name. So anything that I have created, any of the books that I've created, all of it will be dragged over here to the right side. The left side is where I do my edit from left to right. So here's our validating a BC customer account. So I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to bring it right over. We just created that one. If I need to review a website, I can put that here. And if I have any other additional information, I can bring that as well. So if I want to bring over a new BC customer. So now I have my 3 items together in the book. I can bring it up and down, sort in order. I'm happy with the ones that I have, those recordings. And can I put can I put the same recording in different books? Yes, I can. So if you create a recording that would simply be how to log on and log off your new application or your system, if you need to create that for separate books for each department, or if you're going to be creating multiple shelves, you just need to create that one log on, log off document one time. And then as you create all your new books, that recording will still be there and available on your left-hand side that you could then put it into different books. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to save those changes. So now you can see I do have a variety of books that I've created, and I do also have shelves. Creating a shelf or the actual link that will be your learning portal, your knowledge bank, is the same. You would create a new shelf, and when I did that, now I would have the blank shelf structure would be on the right, and then any of the available books. And as long as I have it sorted to that project for my BC demos, I'm only going to see what the items are that I've created for my application for this project. And so then I can take those books and I can move that book over here into and the one that I just created, my Business Central purchasing, I could bring that over, but I see, oh, I do already have one in here, so maybe I don't need this one. Sort and order them any way I want. And then when I close this, I say, yes, I'm going to close this. And then from my very top hierarchy, I can produce my material, I can publish my material, and that is what's going to give me the HTML link that you would work with our customer care team to then be put into your instance of Business Central. So whether it would be here on the tile, so you could see we have the assistant here, which I showed you open up, down as well. Either way, we have search functionality. So if you're going to be looking for a particular work instruction that's been created and you don't want to go through opening each one of the books, or I can come right down here to the very bottom. Notice when I hit this content and pop this up, every book that I have will show you the list of the work instructions underneath it. So I could say, oh, okay, there's the overview for how to do the inside help. So now I can open that up and work from there. So very powerful features. Additionally, if I come out here at the home page where all of my books that I can access, you can download the full portal. This downloads to any handheld device. It will download as a PDF document. So if you happen to be working in a warehouse where there's kind of sketchy Wi-Fi in a back corner, or literally if you are out working in a field, outstanding in a field where there is no Wi-Fi, if you have downloaded the work instructions onto your tablet, your Surface, your iPad, your handheld devices, you'll be able to open up that PDF document and look at the work instructions from there and go through your work processes. So now we have, let's just take another moment here. ClickLearn, we have our Content Cloud portal. So we've gone ahead and we've captured all our materials. So this is the Microsoft's Azure platform. Notice here on the left-hand side, we have a variety of items in our navigation menu. And here under the published content is where you would come to pick up your link, to have your link embedded into your central one. Here, let's take a look and see. So here I can view it from right here within our website. So this is one of the learning portals that I had created. So I would drill down into my books. So you could see it's an HTML link. But above that is also the dashboard. And when I select the dashboard panel, this is now where you're going to capture that ROI. So you've created this great product. You want people to start using it. You've put that learning portal into your BC instance. Are they actually consuming and using the materials? A couple of things that you're looking at here. This top left-hand side, depending upon if you are you can drill down for the heat map, and this will show you where your end users are. And this is based on the different portals that you would create. So for this particular example today, I'm just tracking a couple different of the portals that we have created. So if you have multiple learning portals or learning shelves that you've created for your different lines of businesses, you'll be able to go ahead and track all of your users based on which ones you've selected. Over here on the right-hand side, this is where we have a heat map for what are the top books in what categories. So we have our sales, we have our account management, and then we have our little finance books. So that's letting me know the hits, the number of people or hits that have gone into those books. Across the middle here, now is where we're looking at some real hard numbers. We can see by page view, how many people have looked at our documentation, how many Word documents, PowerPoints, PDFs, and then the show me, try me, and test me videos. So this in particular, we can pull this out of ClickLearn using what we call an OData feed spreadsheet. And that would then be put into your learning management system, and then your tech analyst can use the reporting features within your LMS to be able to parse out the data and use it within your LMS. Or we could just send it to you in that .csv format if you don't have a learning management system. And there's a variety of parsing freeware, because it does come out as raw data, doesn't look pretty, but if you put it into a parsing tool, and again, we don't recommend any one type, you'll then be able to look and use the materials, the information, to see who the end users were. And like I said, it's based on email addresses. And then finally, underneath, we have the overall ratings and the feedback panel. So at the end of the Show Me video and the Try Me video, we have those optional feedback panels. So for anybody that would give you a rating, and then whatever that feedback is that they would be providing in the comment section. So you have all of this information, and this is really good. The feedback panel is good, where somebody might notice that there is an additional step that they might give you some information that said, well, what happened to the county field, or shouldn't we complete the county field? And that would help you to maybe update that document. So if you go back to the document using the replay functionality, you capture the field, you put it back in. As soon as you produce the material again, it literally will update. You don't have to go into the book. You don't have to go into the shelf. Once you make that edit, that update, use the replay function, it will push your updates all the way through. So as long as the document is on your shelf, you'll have consistent updates, and it will update as soon as you update that documentation. That's the story that I have to share with you all today. Mark, are there any questions? Or Wendy, is there any questions, comments, emotional outbursts? Yay, yay.
I don't see any emotional outbursts or questions at this time.
Okay.
So,
well, we do have our ClickLearn.com, so I'll just do a shameless little plug. If you have any more questions for us that you'd like to just come out to our ClickLearn website. Mark, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think you have covered off most of it. Thank you, Christine. As you're mentioning here on our website, we of course can have private sessions with you. So we are happy to set up a discussion. I know this was a full demo of each features and functions. Remember, the product that we offer is a subscription model where you can expand in features and functions. So we have 4 different editions that we offer, where you can deep dive into all of that, and we're happy to have a chat and a discussion in which of the editions that you prefer. We also offer free trial licenses, as you can see here from ClickLearn.com. Simply go in and request a free trial license, and we will make the product available for you for free. And otherwise, of course, feel free to reach out to Mindy, Wendy, or Christine and I, and we are happy to have any discussions regarding ClickLearn and how it can benefit in your organization.
okay, well, Mark and Christine, thank you very much. That was a wonderful presentation. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining our webinar today, and have a good rest of the day and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.